So let's perhaps just begin this moment to call in the fullness of your presence. I'd really like to do that because we have an opportunity here today, whilst we're on this really powerful ley line. How many of you, is it your first time to Glastonbury? Oh, that's really special. Well, welcome to this holy land, a land of pilgrimage where so many people have come here from the centuries. It used to be covered by water. You had to come by boat. It's a really precious place. People from all over the world come here to pray, to connect deeper into their own heart. So that is our purpose today. And these are really strong times. Today I'm speaking, I don't want to come across in some new age type of way. I really want to share some Dharma teachings, Ageless Wisdom, from an understanding that actually all paths lead back to the one. And when we call in the holy I Am presence, our Dharmakaya nature, the spacious clear light of the stainless purity of the eternal self, when we open, when the ego personality aspect of ourselves gets to open to the clear light of your being that was never born, never died, and knows itself to be awake during the course of this dream, which the Vedas talk about being one night's dreaming in your soul's evolution. Now, we're here for a purpose. Even though things could look pretty intensely scary on the earth, as the light that's coming in has exposed to all of us the impurity, the selfishness, the greed, the ways that we gave our power away in the last 2,000 years. And so I'm seeing today as a way to journey back to the center of you here in the heart chakra of Glastonbury. To journey so deep into the preciousness of your heart, which holds a jewel that was put there through the intimacy of the Creator Spirit that contains your ultimate fulfillment, your purpose. And in that way, I really want to honor the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas from the realms of Shambhala and the way that their teachings have manifested on this earth, because they really help humanity to purify the mind that is constantly criticizing, judging, comparing. It's strong. We are all imprinted with a lot. And every lifetime has a purpose. And I feel grateful that even today, that we can deepen or at least learn about what it is to practice Dharma without even feeling, oh, now I've got to perhaps follow being Buddhist. No, that is not the invitation. The invitation is to understand how to clear the mental body that's often very neurotic. And Rinpoche, beautiful Ahbay Rinpoche, who's a Tulku, he says a lot of things that are very deep and simple. And one thing that I really respect that he has taught me in the simplicity of these Dharma teachings is that by invoking a Buddha that has attained full awareness, that we call the enlightened state, by having an invocation that Buddha can share their responsibility to share their wisdom through Sanskrit seed syllable letters that changes the frequency of our physical body, our mental body, our emotional body, to open us to clear the pathways of what you inherited in the bloodlines of your physical body, which actually is the temple to house the consciousness of who you really are. But imagine, whilst we've got this negative imprinted conditioning that made you feel anything less than whole, that didn't recognize you, that imprinted you in the thoughts of you need to be more like this or that, or get this now, this new thing to feel better about yourself, which is where we've all been in the false matrix. What is it that can help us to come into a really grounded, embodied presence and peace? And for me, what I've found personally that has helped my 4 children, ranging from 43 down to 24, has been the power of these mantras to literally clear the karma that we inherited, and that even I've passed on in my own unconsciousness to my own children. It really helped to dissolve so much of my unconsciousness and lack of awareness through simplicity and through that. So I was going to say through the specific geometry of seed syllables. And the reason I'm mentioning this, because after I speak, Rinpoche is going to offer blessings, give a teaching, and then really offer each and every one of you blessings that if you can absorb them and receive them with the power of the light that they are, can actually really make a difference in helping you to become embodied in the light of peace, grounded, because this is what each of us need to come to in order to go from a world of war to a world of peace. It starts with us individually. If you can feel really peaceful within yourself and really radiate that to the light, to your own family, I'm talking about your own mothers, fathers, children's brothers, sister, lovers, grandchildren, people that have passed on, to actually be able to hold these people in the highest light, go piercing through the wounds and the scathing mind that can hold resentment or blocked energy between yourself and that first circle of what seems to be like karma. And so, yeah, that is something that we're all going to have a deep opportunity to anchor a practice, because we are heading for strong times before we come into what's called the Golden Age. I'm a student of the Kala Chakra, which is a very profound understanding of the wheel of time, of humanity's evolution and what is to come. And just to mention about that, they talk about what is it like in Shambhala. Shambhala, nobody has need for money. They're in total, spacious, clear light fulfillment because they've aligned to the eternal self. And you have an eternal self. You may have a physical body in this dream that we call the false matrix, but you have an eternal self. And our work is to unveil and reveal the divine ladder to take you to that self, the holy I am presence of all that you've ever been, all that you ever will be, outside of time, that is the magnificence of you. So I know I'm quite intense, but I'm saying these words really to just give you a taste, a reminder of the path home between your heart, your head, and all that you've ever been. Because when you consciously evoke that and can come into the stillness, and today there'll be many pockets where we can come into stillness. Tonight we have the 3 feathers, Susie Rowe, Isla, Schaefer, and Kaya Knight. That's really special. That's really special. And I'm excited to introduce you later to Amy Lear, that I don't think you may not have heard her sing, but that in itself is a massive treat. And Chris and Maggie and Lily, we've got a day of feasting of the nectar, the ambrosia, so that you can journey through your body temple in this dreaming, because we're here to plant seeds of good dreams for the children of the next 7 generations. That's the only reason I'm here with a microphone in my mouth, because as a grandmother, I really care about the children of the next 7 generations. And it's actually broken my heart many times to see that here in this hometown where I've lived for 32 years, in Glastonbury, there is a really immense ketamine problem for our young people. And it used to be MDMA, and then it became coke, and now it's ketamine. And our young people have been seduced. And how can we help them if we are not strong in ourselves and we don't know where the center of our being is? And in that way, I really give thanks to the plant medicines that I've walked with for the last 22 years. I say that because, they've helped us also to fast track our awareness of the Great Spirit, which happens to be radiating through every leaf, every tree, every blade of grass, all the flowers, all the clouds, and the eyes of the children, through the eyes of the animal. When you meet that Great Spirit in you, you're going to see that Great Spirit everywhere. We are so blessed. So I pray that we can come together today, using this day to shamanically journey back to the heart of your being, because it's in the stillness and in the heart of your being that you can feel the presence, the divine presence of your innermost teacher. Your intuition is your inner teacher that's connected to the source of all existence, the omnipresence, the divine intelligence that some people may look to be the Christ, others the Buddha, others Krishna and Radha, Vishnu, Shiva, Brahma. They're all gateways to take you home to the source of your beingness. And so I really just want to take this moment to thank you for arriving here on this pilgrimage that's taken so many lifetimes to prepare yourself to become the embodied level of peace, that you're walking the light of tranquility through these ley lines, and wherever you go, that you become a living manifestation of a prayer and offering. And in that way, I give thanks to Prajna Paramita and Makjuk Lobdran, who taught us to offer your suffering, offer everything that disturbed your equilibrium, that gave pain, to offer it all back, because it wasn't wasted. Not one tear that you've cried was ever wasted. They're precious jewel drops. Once upon a time, 24 years ago, I watched my beloved pass over from a road traffic accident. My daughter was 5 months, and I was now a single parent again of 4 children. It was a strong moment, as you can imagine. And, I've watched many people pass, actually, and I love to support people in that journey. And I'm very trained in it from many lives of being under the umbrella of the Vajrayana and Buddhism. And the reason I'm saying this is, in that moment when I watched him taking his last breath, what I got to understand is there's not a grain of sand. I know it seems obvious. You cannot take anything from this life apart from the merit that you accumulated through your good deeds, words, and actions, through the offerings of your selfless service. That's the only reason that you're here, is the opportunity to accrue bodhicitta, to cultivate this level of merit. And when you take your last breath, that light that you generated, the chi, the life force energy, the prana, from your good deeds, words, and actions, is what will be absorbed into your chakras and stored until the next round where you take form again. And in that way, I really want to honor what it is to please have a seat if you want. Go ahead. What it is to take the Bodhisattva vow. How many of you understand what the Bodhisattva vow is? Okay, let me tell you about that then. The Bodhisattva vow is really important to understand because it's not talked about in Christianity or in the Vedas, in the Hindu part. The Bodhisattva vow is actually consciously renouncing your enlightened state in order to come and contribute to the evolution of humanity, to support the turning of the wheel through where you incarnated. And often when people incarnate into families where they have heard shouting and fighting and people hitting each other, or may have even been like having a parent that was completely absent, or even being violated sexually. Often it's a bodhisattva that has incarnated here to lift the bloodlines of the last 7 generations. Everything and every place you've ever been is all part of the unfurling of your part within a divine plan. There isn't a mistake. You didn't do anything wrong. This is part of the offering of who you are. And I pray in the course of this day that you'll be touched by some of the songs and the music and our companionship, to know that actually you may have walked in here thinking that you're just you separate, but actually we're one family, and that's what we're waking up to. If I hurt you, I hurt me. If you hurt anybody, you're hurting yourself. And so the lineage that Rinpoche comes from, where they wear their yellow hat, and Rinpoche has been a monk since he was a child. He was recognized from his previous life as a Tulku, had a monastery in Tibet, and many of you may know this, but the Tibetan culture was basically the Chinese invaded, and they were no longer allowed to or capable to live on their land. They had to flee Tibet. And Rinpoche's father actually arrived in India, in Dharamsala, and he was given 2 choices. He could either become a soldier or work on the railroad. Can you imagine? After living a very peaceful life in Tibet, practicing the Dharma. And so, there's so much displacement, but I have confidence and gratitude in the way that the power of the word, your word, of being able to say uplifting things to others, like genuinely from your heart, to really allow that warmth to trickle through you. That warmth, that light, that love is the consciousness of the Creator Spirit, that divine divinity that can uplift and empower others. Our words make differences. I was going to say that the word Om, people say that this original Sanskrit word is the original sound of all creation. Om. And this creates a Sri Yantra. It's the building block of our solar system. And all of the Sanskrit mantras, they actually are recoding your physical atoms, your mental atoms, your emotional atoms. I really pray that Rinpoche teaches you today the Medicine Buddha mantra. Yes, he will, that's good. Because the Medicine Buddha mantra is so good and powerful to help with healing, but to remove mental, emotional, and physical obstacles. It's very powerful. And when we chant together, it's even more powerful. And I pray that at some point when we do this, that you can call in the presence of those that need your support. Because there's nobody here that isn't a powerful healer. Radiatory healing through the power of sound can assist anybody that is depressed, that is suffering. And today, I'm really holding in my heart a young man that took his life in November, and his mother. Too many of our young people are choosing to opt out. How many people here have suffered the loss of somebody that took their life? So you know exactly what I'm talking about, how painful that is. So when we come together in a group like this, we can actually actively assist by the consciousness of your thought and you radiating to bless them wherever they are now, that they could have a better incarnation, be born into a family that's warm and loving, and a world that is warm and loving. I pray that one thing that you could take with you today is to know that your life makes a difference. Do not feel powerless. Please anchor your roots into this earth and open yourself to feel the blessings of the blessed ones that are around you, and to know that you've been loved unconditionally by the Great Mother and the Father of all creation. And we're in a place of rebirth right now as a race. It's the collapse of a civilization that was based on selfishness and greed that's being dissolved, and there's a lot of terror in the air because we cannot carry the old ways. But what is being birthed through you is an alignment with the light of your eternal self, that is the stainless purity of your being, that was never born, never died, and is absolutely, utterly magnificent. So with all my heart, I pray that you stand in the truth of who you are. You do not have to fight to exist. You just have to open yourself to the Great Mother through the base of your spine, to open and consciously interface with her, and to do whatever it takes to radiate the light of peace through every day and through everything you say, through your thoughts and your actions. I pray that, and I just want to give thanks to Vajrayana. Om Shri Vajrayana Samaya Manapalaya Vajrayana Tino Badi Didrida Mebava Subdukaya Mebava Subukaya Mebava Narati Mebava Savasiti Member Hatsawas come and sit to me. Dish Danji Yam Gurahong Ha 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 O Bhagawan Vajrayana Mami Matsubenzabawa Mahasamaya Satwa Ahbay. Ahoma Takwiyasa.